This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Right now, investigators are working to solve two separate homicide cases in North St. Louis County. A man was killed in one, a woman in another. These homicides happened within moments of each other. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. In the last few hours, police identified the man who died in Ferguson as Frederick Gett. The other victim is Kayla Patterson. 5 on your side's Travis Cummings visited both areas today to try to get more information. He is live from the police precinct in North County. What do you have, Travis?
Kelly, Mike, police say in one of the situations, a man was shot and killed during a robbery in Ferguson. That is 45-year-old Frederick Gett. Now, I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about that incident first here. It happened around 8:45 Monday night at an apartment complex in the 9500 block of Glen Owen Drive. Gett was walking with another person when they were approached by two masked suspects. The suspects stole a purse and fatally shot the man in the chest. We did spot a multi-angle camera at the intersection where this happened. We went inside the leasing office at Park North Apartments to ask a few questions. They would not comment, but a staff member said the cameras did belong to them. Today, we also saw investigators searching for evidence outside of an apartment complex in the 4600 block of Whisper Lake Drive. Police say this is where 25-year-old Kayla Patterson was shot and died Monday night. And there were cameras near that apartment complex as well. Now, police are still working to figure out what happened in both of these incidents. If you have any information that could help solve these crimes, just call Crime Stoppers. The number is 866-371-TIPS. We're live in North County. Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
A Marine from Belleville is one of 3 people killed in an aircraft crash in Australia. Captain Eleanor LeBeau was co-piloting when it crashed during a military training exercise on Sunday. The other victims are Corporal Spencer Collard and Major Tobin Lewis. 20 others survived. 3 of them are still in the hospital. The cause is still under investigation. There is a GoFundMe to help the families of Captain LeBeau and the other victims. And you can donate by clicking on this story under the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com.
A man shot by police in North St. Louis County is now charged. This is the police account. DeJuan Williams fired shots at officers first outside a Dollar General store on Parker Road. That's after police say he stole a woman's car keys at gunpoint. As the officer was stopping him, Williams opened fire. The officer was not hurt, but several bullets hit his cruiser. Williams is charged with robbery, assault on an officer, and armed criminal action. He's still in the hospital, but he is expected to live.
A 17-year-old is dead after an accidental shooting in North St. Louis County. Police say it happened on River Oaks Court on Friday. The victim's been identified as Caitlin Drake. Police say she accidentally shot herself.
Investigators have identified the man who died when he was shot and set on fire in Cahokia Heights. The victim is Miljavon Sawyer. He was found dead on Pocket Road last week. The major case squad is investigating. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. Callers can remain anonymous. That number is 866-371-TIPS. 4 Missouri communities are set to receive millions in flood relief money from FEMA.
3 are in St. Louis County, University City, Webster Groves, and Ladue. FEMA wants the flood-prone buildings torn down and replaced with green spaces. 5 on your side's Diamond Palmer is live in U City at the Hafner Court Apartments. How many buildings, Diamond, qualify for this funding?
Well, Kelly, 3 buildings here at Hafner Court Apartments qualify for 100% of the demolition costs to be covered by FEMA federal funding. Now, this is all going to be costing $3.2 million. And these buildings here are actually adjacent to River Des Peres. And residents here at Hafner Court Apartments don't live on the first floor because that was condemned after last July's flooding. Now, residents on the second floor of the apartments are the ones who would be affected by the buyout if the property owner agrees to the green spaces. FEMA says this process could vary in terms of the timeline, but would be communities stronger if more flooding happens.
This funding is available through our Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities funding, which and our flood mitigation assistance programs. So because of the bipartisan infrastructure law, those 2 grant programs had a record amount of funding.
Now, there is a fourth building here on Hafner Court that does qualify for 75% federal funding and 25% local funding. But coming up at 6 p.m., we'll hear from University City's planning director about what buyouts are next and what this means for residents. Reporting live in University City, Diamond Palmer, 5 on your side.
Tonight we are tracking Hurricane Idalia, expected to become a Category 3 storm before making landfall in Florida tomorrow.
Now, there are hurricane warnings and watches along the Gulf Coast, and some people are being told to evacuate. People are preparing for a storm surge that could be more than a foot in some places, especially in the Big Bend area of Florida. According to the National Weather Service, there have been no major hurricanes in that area since 1851. Florida's governor has activated the National Guard, and the president has already approved an emergency declaration. The life-threatening storm could cause major damage.
If this storm hits at high tide, storm surge could reach 8 to 12 feet in some areas. And so that would be a life-threatening storm surge. You run from the water and you hide from the wind. If you're there in that storm surge, you're putting your life in jeopardy when it gets to be that high.
Idalia made landfall off the western tip of Cuba as a tropical storm last night. It caused flooding in an area still recovering from Hurricane Ian almost a year ago. Hundreds of families had to evacuate the Pinar del Rio. There was also heavy rain in Havana.
And we're keeping an eye on the hurricane's track tonight.
Yeah, Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell has the latest on this, Scott.
And you know, it is a very powerful storm. Right now, winds are at 100 miles per hour. Strengthening continues. Storm surge with this is going to be something like they've never seen in the Big Bend area of Florida. Get in a little bit closer with the Doppler radar. You've already seen some bands going through Florida. The heaviest rains offshore now. Winds at 100 miles per hour. Some gusts potentially up to 120 miles per hour. Again, the satellite presentation of this is pretty incredible. It's expected to continue strengthening, likely making landfall during the overnight and early morning hours tomorrow here in the Big Bend area of Florida, especially just to the northwest of Crystal River. This is going to be an area that sees storm surge like they really have never seen before in history. This thing is going to still be approaching well, a strong tropical storm or a minimal hurricane even as it gets to the South Carolina and Georgia coast. As far as the warnings from Tampa northbound, that's where you have the hurricane warnings. Again, it's in that area north of Crystal River and into the Big Bend area, the Nature Coast, where it'll be worse. They're already seeing some storm surge flooding around Fort Myers. Nothing like what Ian produced last year.